And we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside of Destiny, the Taken King. Nick here with Degenerate Gaming. Also here with Soltitan, that is. Excuse me. I refer to him as Sol. Say hi, Sol.
Hey guys, what's up?
And we got our buddy Pilk over there. He's kind of the silent partner in this little thing we're going to start. We want to do this to you on a weekly basis. It's basically what we're going to do is we're going to run a Nightfall. We're going to we'll have other people in here. I don't know if we're going to con them into basically talking with us, but we're going to doing Nightfall in like a podcast format where we kind of rant and bitch and rave about certain things that are going on. And this is actually the first week we're going to do it, so we're going to start off by talking about the February update, which included a lot of cool stuff and some kind of disappointing stuff. But first, I wanted to talk about Crimson Double Soul, in which me and you have both been playing quite a bit over the past 4 or 5 days or so since it came out. And just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. It's so much like yeah. I forgot this was the Nightfall. Okay. Yeah, it's so much like Trials, but you know, only with 2 people, and it's not as stressful as Trials. And it's just really fun. Now there are some things that we'll talk about fixing, but that'll be later in this podcast. Yeah, I really liked it though. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as a game mode as a whole, it's a lot of fun. I like the fact that it's not, everybody's not gung ho like they are in Trials. I mean, it seems more times than not when you play Trials, it's more of a chore just getting your ass kicked for 5 rounds. Whereas this is actually kind of fun. As the level increase, or excuse me, the level advantages are kind of not enabled, so it makes it a lot more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, you can actually win instead of just being killed by a lot of, professionals at Trials. I don't know. It's a whole lot easier.
Yeah, that, and it seems a lot easier to deal with 2 people instead of 3. I don't know. I think the third adds a little more chaos, and it makes it more competitive in a trial standpoint. But it's it's a nice change of pace just having the doubles, or the two-man playlist.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of things that I'm disappointed with it about, and this is kind of on Bungie again. Like I said, I love the game mode, but at the same time, I feel like it could have been done a lot better as far as just the content that it offered. I mean, they brought the live team out to kind of give us these updates and bring new content to us, but there really wasn't a whole lot. I mean, they gave us the doubles playlist and a couple of shaders and a ghost shells, which, I mean, I don't know about you, but in my mind, that's just not enough.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it would have been cool if they could have added maybe, we were talking about this earlier, we got more of these crucible exclusive guns, so we were kind of thinking if maybe Crimson doubles have an increased chance to drop those, but we got them a few times and then we just didn't really get them anymore. But anyways, it would have been cool maybe if they added, heck, maybe new guns. No, I don't know. That might be too much that cool. But
no, and I like that idea. I think really in order to make this a viable, kind of like thing like they do with Iron Banner or Trials, they would have to, and fuck for it being an update. You would think that they would want to do that just for the sheer fact of it would give us a reason to play, because now the bounties, the way it stands, we complete those bounties, and like me, I've done them on all 3 characters now, and I really don't have any, really have no reason to play anymore. They're going to give me a 320 ghost shell for competing in 7 matches, which is, so I'm guaranteed a ghost shell. It's just, it doesn't seem like there's enough incentive for me to go back in there and keep playing this until Monday night or whenever it's over with. It just, I have no reason to go back in there.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Which is my issue with it, and that's been one of the main problems in Destiny, and we're not going to touch too much on this because we could spend all damn day, but it's the replayability factor with, you know, these things. Even like Sparrow Racing, I didn't really particularly, it was fun for about a day, and then after that I was kind of over it, you know. And the same thing with this. Now, it's not on the scale of like the Festival of the Lost, but because it really, you know, I mean, it actually gave us something to do, so I think it was better in that aspect. But really, outside of that, you know, the rewards and the incentive to do this is just not there.
Yeah. It seems like not Festival Lost, SRL Racing, because you had to get to rank 3 and then all you really got was a 320 helmet. I think I never did that, but that's what a lot of people said. But like, you could do all this sub just for one small thing at the end. It could be a big thing to be 320 or whatever, but yeah, I think more rewards or better rewards, something like that.
Well, yeah, there's something would have to change with it, because really, like I said, yeah, there just wasn't enough there. Yeah. Let's move on from that. We've talked about double enough. We've kind of covered everything there. What do you think about freelance 6v6?
I haven't played it too much, but just because there's no fire teams, it seems 10 times easier than when you're playing solo. Obviously, that's all you can do, but there's a lot of solo players out here, and they kind of avoid Iron Banner just because each time they play, they usually get into against the fire team of 6, and that's tough. So I think that's kind of the purpose of freelance. Make it easier on the solo players, just so they can have a good time just getting kills and not being destroyed by teams of 6.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and I really hope it's kind of a test. As for like dedicated servers, and they would implement this in all game modes, because now as it stands, I mean, I didn't really play it, you played it a little bit, but as it stands now, from how I understand it, it's a rotating 6v6 playlist with
a lot of Cabal explosives hooked
so basically it rotates all the 6v6 game modes in Crucible. I would really like to see it for everything across PvP. You know, I mean, why can't we have dedicated servers for excuse me, I lost my train of thought, but why can't we have dedicated servers for like Iron Banner when it comes out, for any other PvP events, and just regular PvP and Crucible in general? Because like you said, a lot of people play solo, and it can really be a pain in the ass.
I think the brothers know we're here.
Yeah, now what you mean about the dedicated servers? You mean for Iron Banner, have one for class?
I mean for everything. So like if, like in the future, we probably won't see this anytime soon, but basically what I was getting at is, okay, they have dedicated servers for people who play in fire teams across all game modes in the Crucible, and they also have you know, and they also have people for, or excuse me, servers for people who play, you know, by themselves. And eventually what it'll lead to, you know, maybe even essentially like ranked playlists for trials. That way people who don't play all the time and are not, you know, realistically have no chance of ever reaching the lighthouse, have at least a shot to be competitive and play in trials, as opposed to getting their asses kicked every time they go out into a match. And we kind of touched on that earlier. Sometimes it's a fucking chore to just, you know, getting beat up in trials like that.
Yeah.
And that I think that is the start of it. But I mean, we'll have to see where that goes again. I think we're a long ways away from that. I just hope that they start heading in that direction.
Yeah.
A lot of big news this week as well. On Thursday, we had the Bungie Weekly update, where they kind of introduced finally essentially a roadmap of content of what we're going to receive. And they said, let's see, at first they said, before the update came out, they said we would be getting more news around this time. So at least they didn't lie to us about that. But at the same token, they really didn't tell us much. It's vague, but at least now we have something to hang on to and say, okay, sometime in the spring, which really could be, you know, anywhere from March to June, we're going to be getting another update. I'm guessing, and this is obviously my thoughts and my speculations, but I'm guessing we're going to get a lot of old content remade. They talked a lot of bit about replayability when they talk about, and what little I read of the patch notes and the update. And I think that is really what this game needs, honestly, because we have so much PvE content that really nobody ever plays. And it's kind of just sad that there's all this stuff just, you know, it's underutilized. Why they don't have like a heroic modifier that you can personally add to everything and bump all the old story missions to up to 40 is just beyond me.
Yeah. What you said, yeah, I agree on that. That's what I think what's gonna happen too, because I mean, why not? Why not bring all this stuff? Bring all the old raids, old strikes here too. And then, since they also said that we're going to be getting a new DLC in fall, that's still a long time away. So, for us to, you know, stay in the game, they have to give us something to do. So yeah, doing our old strikes and raids, that'll give us plenty of things to do.
Well, yeah, and as it stands now, I really don't have time to do 3 raids a week on Kingsfall. But, you know, at the same time, it's going to be a lot more fun when I have to decide, okay, which raid do I want to do, you know, this week with what character? Do I want to do this? You know, what are your friends doing as far as your raid team goes and that sort of thing? You know, I mean, it adds a lot of replayability, and it gives you people a lot of things to do. Plus, I think if they were to remake, you know, the strikes and the raids, it adds a little more diversity to the game. It's ultimately it's better for the game as a whole.
Yeah.
Soul, you're the last one up. Yeah, and you know, the sad truth of the matter is that, you know, I mean, basically, if it does come out in late spring, you're going to be talking 6 or 7 months with, you know, with no content. And that's kind of where we're at now. We're in the content black hole.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's rather hard to deal with. But essentially, what they're telling us is we're going to have to deal with that once again.
Yeah.
I was just in a bad spot there, but I'm gonna have to come back and get me at some point.
Yeah, I got broke up. Just I gotta stay alive now. How low is he? Oh, he's alright. Sweet, he's dead. Nice. Might just sit him in the bubble. With my advantage.
And knowing that we're going to be in this content bubble, it kind of sucks. It does, but at the same time, if you know the live team can bring us events like Crimson Doubles and stuff, and obviously they need some work, but if they can bring us things like that to kind of keep us, you know, involved in the game, I think.
I mean, it's hard enough as it already is. So I don't know. I feel that they have to, in order to keep all their players. If they don't, then a lot of people are going to be, you know, leaving. I mean, a lot of people have already left, but yeah, they need this to bring in.
But yeah, and you know, I mean, you touched on a good point. A lot of people have left, but a lot of those people are going to come back as soon as there's more content.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody, a lot of people like to bitch about this game, and we do too. And we play it often enough where I feel we have the right to bitch about it, and we're big enough fans of it. But at the same time, really our main concern is fixing the issues that we have and playing some of the old content that we still enjoy playing. I mean, if they brought Year 2 Vault of Glass weapons, I would probably play that every week over any other raid or anything else that was in the game.
Yeah. That's another thing I've been thinking of. second. Sorry about that. All right. Another thing I've been thinking of: 3 raids. If they do bring all the raids, and if they bring all the raids back, then you have to. I mean, that could be up to 3 raids a week. That's gonna be, you know, hard to do all of those, but it gives you something else to do. Yeah, there's probably only a few people, not a few people, more than a few people that are gonna do it. So all 3 a week. It's just gonna give more to do. I think this is all Destiny needs, and then it's gonna be back where basically we're taking King first release. It's gonna be, you know, that big. Everybody's gonna be putting it again.
Well, and that brings up another good point that we really haven't discussed or talked about with, you know, this content roadmap is this so-called huge expansion in fall. You know, what will it bring? Are we going to have to pay for it? You know, are questions everybody's going to ask at some point, I think. And, you know, that really needs to be addressed as well. I mean, we can sit here and speculate all we want, but I would almost guarantee that we're going to have to pay for it, which is not necessarily a big deal, but it's, you know, if all we're getting is these shitty live events from the live team once every 4 to 6 months for all the money from Eververse, I really think that Eververse was just a failure in my mind.
Right. I mean, that was their kind of point, you know, to not make anybody pay for these things. Make them pay for the, you know, the stupid little emotes that you can buy. You know, give money to them that way, so we don't have to pay for any DLCs or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they're not just gonna give, you know, free DLC to everybody. It's all about money, so.
Well, we'll have to pick this discussion back up next week. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I want to thank everybody for watching. You can find us on Twitter you can find me at nick@degenerategaming.com. That ends with an N instead of a G. I ran out of letters.
You can find me at,
You can find Sol here at the Soltitan. You can follow us on Twitter. You get best channel news. Remember to hit that like button. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next one.
Peace.
That it.